In today's practice, we are going to be focusing on a position that we take quite often in any of our classes, gentle, vinyasa. But what I'd like to do every so often is to really take a little deeper dive into some of the postures, even some of the very basic ones. In fact, especially some of the very basic ones that we use all the time. So today we're going to be looking and focusing a little more on Anjaneyasana, or the low lunge position. So there's a low runner's lunge, and then there is just a low lunge. They're really not too different, except that with one the knee is up, one the knee is down. But just as a reminder, Anjaneyasana, we're going to be coming into this particular shape, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we come into the pose. But as you can tell, it's a really nice deep opener for the psoas. It's got some wonderful opening qualities for the chest. It's a good core builder because you really have to find your center through the core. It's got a little bit of a balance component. It's great for the neck, the entire spine. There's just a lot going on. But this is a difficult pose for a lot of folks because sometimes it can create some issues with the knee pressing down into the mat. We want to make sure that we're very careful about the front knee, that we're not overextending or putting too much torque or weight on the front knee. Anyway, we'll get into it a little bit more, but I just wanted to let you know sort of where we're going from the beginning, so you can see how all of these preparatory postures are going to build up to a nice Anjaneyasana later. So we're actually going to start today by lying down. And if you have a blanket, I'm going to offer you two options. If you have a blanket or a block, we're going to start with a little bit of just sort of a passive opener for the psoas. So you can take a blanket and make a blanket roll, or depending on how comfortable it is for you, you can make a blanket roll. You can just stack a blanket and bring it underneath your sacrum. Take the sweater off so I can move a little bit more. Or you can take a block and bring it underneath the sacrum. So we're going to be laying down like so. And if you're using a block, you're just going to bring it right underneath the lower back. So wherever you're placing the support, whether it's a block or a blanket roll, if you have a bolster, you could use that as well. You're going to make sure that that support is right underneath the sacrum. That's that nice flat triangular bone part of the spine that really is the very end of the lower spine. Now, I'm going to suggest that whatever option you're taking, that you just stretch out one leg at a time. It's a little bit more intense to go ahead and stretch both legs out. So it takes a little bit of the pressure off if you just bend one knee, keep one knee bent, and then extend one leg down the mat. So just take a minute, settle into whatever variation feels best for you. And then start to relax down. Make sure that your spine feels nice and equally supported. Your arms can be wherever they are most comfortable. They can be on your belly. They can be down on the mat beside you. They could even be overhead if you prefer. So once you're in your initial shape, start to take your mind away from all the instructions and all of the exact specifications of what we're doing at this moment, and just start to relax the body down. Begin to breathe, especially into your pelvis, and feel the weight of your extended leg just dropping down. Feeling that nice beginning stretch at the top of the thighs. Relax your shoulders. Just begin to feel your connection and the grounding energy of the earth underneath the parts of your anatomy that are touching Mother Earth. As you bring the breath into the body, see if you can bring it into the belly first. Deeply inhaling and letting the belly rise. And then allowing it to fill the chest and finally fill up the base of your throat. As you exhale, you'll let it out in the opposite direction, throat, chest, and finally the belly descends. Let's try that again. Inhaling, expanding and ballooning the belly up. Chest lifts and expands and rises, and then you fill up all of your throat. Exhale, release through the throat. Let your chest fall and your belly descend down. Let's take 3 more breaths in that belly breath fashion. I'm going to offer an affirmation for our practice today. If you wish to follow along and repeat it to yourself, then by all means, feel free. The affirmation is, today I open myself for all that is to come. Today I open myself for all that is to come. All right, finish up that last 3-part breath down into your belly, and when that finally releases, let's go ahead and bend the opposite knee and extend the opposite leg down the mat. So feel the straightened leg now begin to get a little heavy, stretching out from the top of the hip crease all the way down the leg. And go ahead and take another round of that belly breathing. Today I open my heart for all that is to come. Whatever this day brings, I am ready for it. It's the wonderful thing about each brand new day. We don't have to know everything that's going to transpire. We don't have to have every single minute planned out. We can just enjoy the little sparkles of life, especially the unexpected ones. All right, take 3 more of those 3-part belly breaths. Really feeling your belly balloon and lift up as it carries them into the chest and opens the throat. Exhale and release. Do that 2 more times. Beautiful. Last one. Begin to bend your legs, bring both legs hip distance apart. Gently press down into your feet just enough to lift up and remove whatever support you had underneath your sacrum. You can push that to the side or press it up to the front. Let your lower back descend down slowly. Feel that flattening of the lower back, a little rush of sensation as you allow the sacrum to rest. Take a breath in and then take a little pelvic tilt, tilting the tailbone and the pubic bone up to the ceiling. Exhale and let it down. Inhale, take the pelvic tilt. Exhale, let it down. And one more. And exhale. Wonderful. Go ahead and extend your left leg down the mat. Draw your right knee into your chest. Hug your right knee in. Take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right arm comes to a T off the shoulder. And then just draw your right leg and knee over to the left. Keep your right shoulder planted down on the mat. Heart and face are still facing upward toward the sky. Just feeling that little stretch along the gluteal muscle, maybe coming into the lower back a little bit. And if you like, you can drop your right ear toward its shoulder. Exhale. Inhale, roll back to center. Extend your your right leg down and draw your left leg into your chest. Hug it in. Give that little leg a squeeze. And then we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Left knee draws across the body. And we just get a little bit of a lower back twist and a little stretch through the left gluteal muscle. Nice deep inhalation, and then if you like, you can drop your left ear toward its shoulder. Today, I'm going to open myself up with joy to all that comes before me. Wonderful outlook. Inhale, roll back to center. Go ahead and hug both knees into your chest. Place one hand on top of each knee and just create some small circles around and around, massaging the sacrum. Tiny little circles. Just feeling that into the lower back. Pressing down wherever you need a little bit more oomph, a little more emphasis. And then you can circle around the other way. Nice. As you're ready, we'll go ahead and roll on up. You could roll to one side or get some momentum and rock back up to the top. I'm going to try to stay out of that bright light as much as I can. Today, I tell you, this time of year, it's either all the way bright or it's all dark at night. So hopefully you can see well enough and that won't blind you, blinding me a little bit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start in tabletop position. Placing your hands right underneath your shoulders. Press down through each of the 10 finger pads. Feel a little bit of lift coming up through the palms of the hands, and then take particular attention to press down through the index finger and the thumb joint. So really pressing down through there and feeling the energy rise up. Lifting up through the middle of your upper back. Feeling the strength now that comes just from this supporting posture. Pressing down into the earth. Belly lifts up, hollow through your belly, lifting your navel up towards your spine. Take a breath in here. Exhale, release. And then go ahead and let's take a couple of cat-cows. Drop that belly down. Let your belly drop, your hips rise. Take a deep inhalation. Heart reaches forward. And then Exhale, drop the crown of the head down toward the floor, chin presses in towards your breastbone. You really lift the back of the heart up toward the ceiling. Take a deep inhale, come back to cow. Exhale and roll through to cat. Again to cow. And one more time, pressing up into cat. All right, come right back into your neutral spine here. Keeping your body in place with all three limbs, we're going to lift one leg up. So lift your right knee up and bring that right knee so that it is roughly the same height as your hip. Flex the right foot, and we're just going to lift that foot up. And then we're going to lift again. So little tiny pumps, really concentrating on keeping your core in place and using the gluteal muscle to lift and extend. So the glute muscle and the quadricep muscles of the psoas are helping to lift as well. Pump and pump and pump and pump. The sole of the foot is pumping up to see if you can touch the ceiling. You don't have to be overly crazy about it, just nice little pumps, but be sure that you're keeping the rest of your body locked in place with that nice stable table posture. Let's do one more pump, and then we'll bring that leg down. As you bring the right leg down, we're going to bring that foot right in between our hands, and then lift the left knee up, sliding right into our first lunge position, a runner's lunge with the left knee raised. Extend through that left leg and lift the left thigh up toward the ceiling. Now, we want to have a nice support with our hands on the mat, but if you feel like you're hunching forward and placing too much weight on the front of your body, always bring in your blocks here. This creates a lift, allows your spine to really lengthen rather than rolling down and sort of dumping into the front part of the body. So the blocks can be used at any height to gain the support that you need. Pressing down through that big right toe, but really, again, lengthening through the back leg. Take one more breath here. Exhale, and then we're going to slide that right leg back all the way to the back and take Adho Mukha Shavasana, our first downward dog. Lifting the hips high, knees can be soft or even bent quite a lot. Just take a little movement here, maybe bending the knees, moving around. Just kind of find what feels good. If this is your first down dog of the day, then enjoy it. Keep breathing. Breath moving up and down your body to really give you that energy, give you that cleansing action. And beautiful. All right. Come on back down to tabletop position, and we're going to take that little sequence on the other side. Get my hair out of the way. So go ahead and take your tabletop position. We're going to bring that left knee up, pressing it up, flexing the left foot, and bringing it right about hip height to start. All right, making sure that you've got your stability through your hands, core's lifted up. Start your pumping action on the left side. So pump, pump, pump. And really the slower you take this, you don't want to kind of get going so you're creating momentum. Try to go nice and slow and feel the control. Feel which muscles are really becoming engaged. Keep breathing. Pump, pump, pump. A couple more. Glutes may be talking to you tomorrow a little bit. We'll see. And then bring that leg down. We're going to bring it all the way through. Wiggle that foot up in between your hands. And then lift the right knee up. Coming back into low lunge position. Again, lengthening through the spine, with blocks or without. See if you can stretch that right leg back, feeling that psoas already getting a little stretch on the right side now. Left foot keeping you nice and stable. Push down through the left big toe. Take a deep breath. All right, and then we're gonna slide the left leg back. We're gonna come right back into downward facing dog once again. Breathing up and down the spine. Again, move around a little bit, stretch into each opposite hip. Sometimes that feels good just to push one hip way up to the ceiling and then go back and forth from one to the other. Nice. All right. From here, you're going to lower the body all the way down. So come on down to your belly. And we're going to do a little bit of opening through the front body. Turn my music down just a little bit. So coming down to your belly, you can bring the arms back behind, reaching the fingers back toward the feet. Now, my palms are facing up toward the ceiling, so the backs of the hands are down. So we're coming into Shalabhasana or locust pose. You can widen your feet just a little bit. They can be slightly wider than hip distance here. Pressing the tops of the feet down, pressing your thighs down into the mat, and then taking a little pelvic tilt as you press the pubic bone straight down, like you're trying to push your pubic bone right down into the earth. When you do that, you'll feel the core engage, and you can use that core strength then to lift up through the upper body. And you can just come up an inch or two. You don't have to come up very high for this posture. The crown of the head is reaching forward off the mat. Feel stable and secure, you can lift your arms up as well. Fingers are now reaching back toward my feet. So picture yourself, if you were a superhero and you're flying straight like a bullet through the air. Your head is reaching forward. Your chest is lifted. You're still pushing down through that lower core, pushing that pubic bone down. Are you still breathing? Hope so. And then exhale, let's let the front part of the body come down. Oh, take a breath. You can turn your head and let yourself just kind of relax. Let everything go for a breath or so. All right. And then we're going to take this locust position on the back half of the body. So this time you can leave your shoulders down if you wish. We're still going to take that same action with the core and with the pubic bone pressing down, but this time you're going to lift your feet up off of the mat. And again, it doesn't have to be far, it can just be an inch or so. It can just hover. And then you can play around with how much you can lift those legs up. Maybe it comes up into the thighs. Maybe it's still just the feet. Being careful that your lower back is not getting crunched or not feeling uncomfortable. You always want to protect the back. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Opening the back body. This is really coming all the way up, whether you realize it or not. Exhale and let those feet come all the way down. Take another breath with your head and your whole body relaxed down on the mat. Just let it all go. All right, so now we're going to try it all together. If one or the other side was difficult for you and you only want to do half locust, choose your half. If you're ready to do both, then let's go for it. Let's push down through the pubic bone. Inhale, using the core, lift the shoulders up. Lift the feet off the mat. Lift the hands and reach those fingers back like they're trying to reach your heels. So this is really engaging the entire length of the line of energy of the back body. Erector muscles, abdominal muscles. Breathe, keep pushing down through the core. Keep finding length between the shoulders and the ears. And exhale, let's let it come down. Ooh. such a simple posture, but it can take a little bit of strength, huh? All right, bring your hands up under your shoulders, press yourself up, and let's press back to a child's pose for a breath. This helps to kind of curl the tailbone down at the end of the spine, releases any kind of crunching or tension in the lower back that you may have inadvertently felt when you were in that last position. Breathe and relax. Ooh. As you lift up, this time we're going to lift up and come to a seated position. Your legs are already underneath you, and we're going to sit down in hero's pose. So, Virasana or hero's pose, if you already know this is a challenging position for you to sit all the way down, please grab a block or two. And you can bring that block right underneath your seat. If you lift the hips higher than the knees, it's going to take some of the pressure off of the bend in the knees, or if your psoas and quads are really tight, then you may want this option as well. If you're fine without it and you can sit down between those feet, then you're just going to let your sits bones plug right down in between your heels. Your feet are pointing straight back, so we don't want the feet to sickle in or necessarily sickle out. If you can, you're going to have those feet and toes pointing directly behind you. All right, plugging into this seated posture. I know for some people this is really not their favorite pose, but it is a traditional meditation pose. So there is a way to find ease in this posture. It may just take a little while for you to kind of work toward that goal. So plugging down in, feeling your sits bones really reacting and pressing into the earth. We're going to guide the energy up through the spine as we lengthen up and draw the crown of the head up toward the ceiling. Relax your shoulders down and create that beautiful space between the earlobes and the shoulders. Your chin is parallel to the floor. We're going to breathe and relax and release. Again, my hands are just resting on my thighs. You can take a mudra if you like. You could always have your hands at heart. Just find your arms in a nice, comfortable position. A couple more breaths. I'm open to whatever this day presents before me. Can't wait. All right, from a hero's pose, you can either stay here or we're going to try another little variation. We're going to take the hands behind us, pressing down on either side of your feet. We're going to start to bring the weight slowly backward, and you're just going to come back. Maybe it's just an inch. Maybe this is it. Maybe that's as far as you dare go. Just a little bit of a reclined hero's pose. I'm going to pull forward so that I've got more room to demonstrate. For some of us, you may be able to come backward further. You may be able to even come down onto your elbows. But if this isn't speaking to you this morning, by no means go any further. Always listening to your body. Never going to pain, ever. Pain is your body's way of saying, come back and find a different way. So breathe here. Whichever variation, or you can stay just in heroes for another breath. Obviously, we are stretching the front part of the quads, and this is a deep stretch. All right, slowly begin to push yourself back up. If you went backwards, come on forward. Plant your hands on the mat. Come up to hands and knees, and then let's take a downward facing dog. Beautiful. Lifting the hips high. Lengthening through the spine. Deep inhale, exhale, release. Ooh, I had a little pop in my back. I don't know if you felt it in yours. Well, let's go ahead and walk our feet up to the front of the mat. Just kind of flow up and down once. Come to Uttanasana, forward fold. Your knees can be super soft if you like. Let your head just hang down. Just enjoy kind of letting everything roll off your back for a moment and sway back and forth. You know, yoga is about finding what feels good, so don't let any instructor take you down a path that doesn't feel good. Do your own thing and feel good. All right, inhale. We're going to come up. We're going to rise all the way to the top. Take Ardha Hastasana, upward facing hands. Plug your feet in. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. And then as we sit down, we're going to take a little chair pose. We're going to find our easy chair here. Is this the kind of comfortable chair you'd like to have in your home? Would you like to watch TV sitting in this chair? I'm not sure I would. But what it is a strengthener for our quads, for our legs, for our core. So we're going to take another breath in this lovely chair. And then go ahead and fold all the way forward. Hands come down, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Arms reach up and over, and hands are going to come by your side. All right, I had suggested that you bring a strap to practice. We're just going to use it really quickly here if you need it. It's for holding onto your foot behind you. So you don't necessarily have to use the strap, but sometimes it is helpful for this stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to balance on the left foot, and then we're going to lift that right foot up. Again, you can see that we're doing all kinds of things here to open the psoas, open the quad, and we're just going to lift that foot up. You can use the strap like so. If you're not using a strap, then you're just going to reach back and grab that right foot. Almost like we were starting off in a dancer pose. We're not going to go to dancer, but just getting a little gentle stretch. Again, just all kinds of different variations to try to prep the body so we can really enjoy Anjaneyasana. All right, let that foot go. We're just going to take that on the other side. Let the right foot down. Lift your left foot up with or without the strap. And you only need this strap if you can't really reach the foot comfortably. If that's not comfortable, then you can just bring that strap around the foot, carry it around the shoulder. Keep lifting up through the spine. Try not to collapse on the standing hip, but rather lift up and energetically bring your attention up through your posture. One more breath, and then you can let that left foot down. Let's inhale, arms are going to reach up. Exhale and forward fold. Hands are going to come down to the mat. Walk your feet backwards. Press back to downward facing dog. 2 full breaths here. Exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. Maybe your legs are a little bit straighter now. But you can always keep the knees soft if you like. All right, come on forward. Knees are going to come down. Right leg is going to come forward between our hands. One more time, lift the left knee up. Come into traditional low runner's lunge. From runner's lunge position, we're going to walk the hands around to the left side. Walk them around, pivot on that right front foot. Feet are now parallel to the ends of the mat as we come into wide leg forward fold, Pasarita Padottanasana. We're going to let the head drop down. We're going to really let the neck relax, but we're going to keep lifting up through the inner groin, the inner thighs. That's where the core begins, remember? Core is what holds us. Inhale, come up to fingertips, walk your fingertips just a few inches forward so you can lengthen. And then exhale, drop that head down again and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, walk your hands around to the front once again. Come to low lunge. Right leg slides back. downward facing dog. Inhale, we're going to bring the left foot forward for low lunge, or you can drop down to your knees if it's easier to do that before bringing the foot forward. Stretching, really feeling that nice little stretch in the right hip crease. And then walk your hands around to the right. We're just going to take that same little sequence with our forward fold. Parallel your feet. Come to wide leg fold. Pulling everything up through the inner groin. Let your head drop down. Inhale. Exhale. Ready for anything this beautiful day brings us, right? One more breath. And exhale. All right, walk your hands around to the front once again. Come to lunge. Left foot comes back. Downward dog. Inhale, knees drop down. Exhale to child. 3 breaths here. Always taking that beautiful time in child's pose. It's not just where we just let everything go and we go on autopilot. We really take this time to feel what's happening in the body, to listen to all the sensations, to breathe into any areas that feel like they need a little bit more attention. Child's pose is where we can reset and rebalance. All right, come on up. You can come to all fours, and we are going to start with our workshopping, our demonstration of Anjaneyasana. All right, so starting off in all fours position, we're going to bring the left foot forward first. Just as we did before, lift the right knee up and come to low runner's lunge position. Runner's lunge, obviously it gets the name because you might have your foot on the starting block. I was never a runner, but maybe some of you were, and you know this position well. So you got your heel up, you're extending through that right leg, you're lifting up through that right thigh, and you want to kind of bring this foot back as far as you can so you're getting the maximum amount of length and opening through that right hip crease. So from here, with a nice long spine, with that right leg extended as far as you can, we're going to drop the right knee straight down. So already then you're going to feel an even more intense sensation in that right psoas. Now I'm going to offer you a modification. For some of us, if the right knee typically gets, if the knee on the back typically gets tender in this low lunging position, you could have a blanket standing in, on standby. You could always have a blanket next to you and pull it under that right knee, because obviously you are pushing down on that knee, and sometimes it's a little tender to hold this position for any length of time. So already, before we lift up, we want to take a couple of action points into consideration. We're trying to make sure that the sacrum is even. So sometimes that means we've got to bring the left hip back and the right hip slightly forward. It's just a little adjustment, but a lot of times we're kind of off balance and we're leaning over to the right and we don't even realize it. So we want to make sure and kind of make just that little adjustment so that the back of the sacrum is even and balanced. You want to take a look at your left foot. Is the knee supported directly over the ankle? We don't want to be out front where we're putting undue pressure on that front knee. If it needs to be a little further back, that's okay. You're not going to probably injure yourself because of that. But essentially, you're aiming for a nice knee and ankle balancing. All right, so with all of that in place, we're going to go ahead and come up to our first lifted position. Bringing the hands to the top of the left thigh. So now we feel that stretch in the right psoas, right? We feel a little bit of strength coming into the top of the left quad. But where we really want to feel the lift and the strength is from the core. So lifting up through the mid part of the body. We're going to lengthen the tailbone down. So we're not going to have the booty sticking out behind us and having this sway back, even though sometimes we talk about going into a back bend. The tailbone needs to be lengthening down toward the earth so that we don't put any undue torque on the lower back. All right, just relax your shoulders. Lifting up, finding that open-hearted position. Chin can be slightly elevated. Breathe. And then we'll bring the arms up and overhead. And they can just come straight up and down. So we have this beautiful north-south energy flowing from the fingertips all the way down to the end of the spine. One more breath here. Exhale and bring your hands down. Let's bring the left foot back up and under. And if you want to just kind of press it to one side and the other, kind of stretch out the hips, or even take a child's pose again, then feel free to do so. So, that is quite an opener for those psoas. I know you can feel it, I can feel it, but this is so good for us because it keeps this muscle open and lengthened, which takes tension out of your lower back. It just has so many benefits to keep that hip flexor nice and strong. All right, so let's try it on the left, on the other side. Bringing your right foot forward. Once your right foot is forward, knee is over your ankle, lift your left knee up. Lengthen back. This is really key to getting a nice long left leg so that you get the maximum amount of stretch through the psoas. And I didn't mention before, but obviously blocks are always your option as well. So lengthen here, feel that left thigh lifting up. And then slowly descend the left knee straight down so you have the maximum length on that left leg. Your left toes can stay curled if you like, if you feel better with them curled, or you can flatten out the top of the foot. It's really your choice. But just kind of feel where you are. Is your sacrum even? Do you need to maybe push that left hip forward a little bit? And then we'll come on up using our core strength to lift up. And remember, lifting up from the midsection takes the weight, takes anything off of that front knee. Your right front foot is really plugged in, but it's a stabilizer. It's not your strengthener. It's not your strengthening. It's not your source of strength. It's just stabilizing you. And also, if you feel a little bit off balance, feel free to open up and move that right foot an inch or two to the right. So we want to make sure that we're on skis or train tracks and not on a tightrope, because otherwise it's really difficult to balance in this position. Just feel your breath. Lifting up, opening the heart a little bit more. Pressing down into the left, top of the left foot. And then as you're ready, let's lift our arms up. Tailbone lengthening down. Make sure you're not pushing the tailbone out behind you. One more breath. Slowly bring the hands down. We're going to bring the right foot back in behind, and this time let's all take a child's pose together and take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Today I'm open to whatever this beautiful day brings me. What a wonderful way to go through life. On up to hands and knees position. We're just going to do a little flow that involves Anjaneyasana, so you can put it into practice as we're moving through some of the postures. All right, so let's Go ahead and press up to downward facing dog. Hips lifted high. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your feet forward. Come to the front of the mat. Forward fold position. Uttanasana. Inhale. Root those feet down. Lift all the way up. Full body expansion overhead. Exhale. Hinge forward. Cascade and fold. Inhale and step your left foot back to runner's lunge. And then go ahead and drop that knee down, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. On your next breath in, as you've had everything in place, no need to rush it. Think about all the things that we just worked on, and then inhale. Come on up with hands reaching overhead. Breathe, open your heart. And this time, if you wish, you could open that chest a little higher, maybe even crescent back if you would like, through the upper back. Exhale, bring your hands back down. Inhale, lift that left leg back up. Walk around to the left side of the mat, pivot on that front right foot. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, with control, bring your hands to your waist and slowly rise all the way to the top. Open your arms out to the side, 5-point star. Nice deep breath. And then go ahead and turn your right toes toward the front. Dip into your front right knee. You'll find yourself in Warrior Two. Beautiful warrior pose. Left hand comes to your thigh, right arm reaches up. Get a beautiful side stretch. Exhale back to Warrior Two. Take your left hand, cartwheel it around. Bring that left hand down to the mat. Right arm is going to sweep out for a lunging twist this time. Right arm comes up. Exhale, right hand comes down. Step forward to the front of the mat. Forward fold, both feet together. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, take a little back bend if you wish. Inhale, upward facing hands. Exhale, fold, forward fold. Step back with your right foot this time. Starting in low runner's lunge to get everything in position, thinking about your alignment. Lengthen, push that right foot back, and then slowly let the right knee come down. Again, if you've got your blanket nearby and you always want to, if you want to bring that underneath the knee, it's always there for you. And then as you're ready, lift up. Arms are going to reach north and south. Lifting out of both armpits. Ribs opening like a fan. How's your alignment? How's your balance? Opening a little further if you wish. You can arch your upper back. Lift your chin. Beautiful posture. Exhale, bring those hands back down to the mat. Lift your right knee back up. Walk your hands around to the right. Come back to Prasarita. Let your head drop down, forward fold. Feet are parallel now. We're pressing down through the feet, but lifting up through the inner groin and thighs. Inhale, hands come to your waist. With control, slowly lift yourself up with a flat back, nice and strong. Open the arms out to the side, 5-point star. Breathe here, feeling your strength and expansion. And then we'll turn those left toes toward the front. Dip the left knee down. Find yourself in Virabhadrasana 2. Right hand comes to your thigh, left arm reaches up. Exhale, back to Warrior Two. Right hand this time cartwheels around, comes down to the mat. Hand comes down to the mat or block, and left arm reaches up for a lunging twist. Exhale, left hand comes all the way down. Slide your left foot back, take downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, knees down, press back to child's pose. 3 full breaths here. Beautiful, one more. Very nice. All right, come on up to hands and knees. We're going to swing around. We're going to sit down on the mat and open our legs nice and wide. So legs are nice and wide here. We're coming into Upavista Konasana, which is a wide leg forward bend. So we're going to take our hands out in front. If you wish, you can have blocks and bring blocks down to bring yourself forward on, 1 or 2, either way. You're going to sit up nice and tall, plug your sits bones down into the earth, lift up, flex your feet. Your legs are very active here as you come forward, little by little, allowing your lower back to get a nice stretch as you lengthen and bring it forward, and eventually come down to your elbows. Keep breathing here. Feel all of the different areas that are getting a beautiful stretch. Release through the lower back, behind the knees, opening those hamstrings, hips. If you wish, you can bring your hands, palms together. Drop your forehead down to your thumb. Hold and relax. Stay here for a few more breaths. Yourself up, walk your hands backwards or come off of those blocks as you're ready. Swing your legs around, extend them down the mat, and we're going to roll all the way down. Somehow our time went by super fast today. At least it did for me. Come all the way down to your back. Let's hug your knees into your chest. Again, you can rock back and forth. Just working out where it feels good to give yourself a little massage. Ooh. And bring both feet down. You're going to open your arms into a T off the shoulder. You're going to scoot your hips ever so slightly to the right, just an inch or two, and then let your knees and thighs drop over to the left. So just a really simple supine twist. Knees drop all the way down, releasing your right shoulder. Your chest and heart are still reaching up toward the sky. Think about that beautiful blue sky out there today. It's coming in my window and warming me up. All the wildlife came back to life, and they're jumping around this morning and enjoying this beautiful day. Let your body just soften down. If you want to press your knees a little closer to the front of the mat, you can take a little intensity off of the stretch. Relaxing and opening the right lung. A little twist to your internal organs. It's always great to do these twists. They stimulate our systems, help to move a lot of stuff around that needs flushed. So twists are good for so many reasons. Slowly begin to roll back to the center. Make sure you take care with your lower back as you roll back to center, and then just kind of shift your hips slightly over to the left side of your mat and let your legs drop over to the right. Soften your left shoulder down. Continue to anchor yourself in your breath as you just feel everything going on with the body. What effect has this practice had on you today? Gently roll back to the center once again. Lift your knees up. Position everything right smack in the middle. Go ahead and extend your legs down. You can bring your arms by your side, or your arms can go wherever they're most comfortable. I had somebody ask me today or yesterday if their arms could be in different positions in Shavasana, and I said, whoa, Shavasana is completely up to you. Shavasana is a state of mind more than it is a posture. So whatever helps you to relax and drop into your space, connect, and go inward is where you should create your own Shavasana. Encourage you to breathe into your pelvis and into your lower belly, hips and thighs. Since we did an awful lot of opening there today. Just relax and relish the idea of finding joy and acceptance in whatever this day brings. Path ahead is unknown, and there's a beauty in that. free to carry on as long as you would like. If you'd like to transition close practice together, then you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deeper breath in through your body. Take a nice morning stretch, pointing the toes, lifting your arms up. And then exhale and just take your time and roll up. Back to the top. We can join together. And take one final breath collectively, lifting our arms up, reaching them overhead. Reaching toward the source of all life and light. And then exhaling and connecting to the source of our own light. The light in me is honored and grateful for the light within you all. Thank you so much for practicing with me on this beautiful day. Om Shanti. Namaste.